Hello and welcome to the cabin series. As you can see, we're at the cabin and we've actually been living here for the past couple of weeks, and it is our first time, spending weeks by ourselves here where we're not hosting, where we're not getting everything settled in, and it's been pretty unreal.
Oh, it looks so close when I close my eyes. So I burn the map, I ignore the signs, but feeling far away. 2 years in a couple
Just hopping the fence and Andreas.
my hand to the world outside like it's all okay. I can't believe what my eyes have seen. I just woke up from a broken dream. Who can stop my hands from shaking? I need you to take them, and I don't wanna wait all night. I'm coming alive and my senses are a little demented. Can this be right?
A funny thing that happened is every time me and Alex think we're gonna be by ourselves here, we meet people who are also staying. And so the other night in the hot tub, we met a bunch of people, and they were from Vancouver as well. So they invited us over to their place, to one of the other cabins for dinner and drinks tonight. So that's kind of fun. We always have the opportunity to socialize when we want to, which is kind of nice because it stops it from being very lonely.
That's a pro of it being a resort,
Yeah.
because there's so many things about a traditional resort that we actually don't like in theory, but being able to just hang out with other people if you feel like it is kind of really cool.
So today I'm going to talk about some of the frequently asked questions, like how much did it cost? Does it live up to the hype? What are the downsides? This is a bit of a vlog, but I also wanted to take the opportunity to answer some questions that have come up a lot throughout the cabin series. So the first question I want to talk about is the lifestyle what I imagined it would be? So this is kind of a great question because it goes back to that concept of expectation versus reality. Once you get the thing that you have idealized for so long, do you finally feel satisfied? And the answer to that is yes. So buying this cabin and turning it into an Airbnb has been a project, to say the least. Slightly upset because I just want this to be done, and it just occurred to me that I now have to read the directions. And I just don't want to. I actually just want to say I'm so tired right now. Me vlogging, all I do is literally complain. That's my version of a vlog. However, throughout that opportunity, we've gotten a taste of a different lifestyle, and we've gotten a nice reset from being in the city all the time. It's been a place to host friends and to build new memories with people, which is invaluable to us. We're not at the type of property where we had the opportunity to build our cabin. So a lot of the other cabin vlogs I really like and admire, there's an actual building process, and half of the satisfaction is from seeing that project come to life. Now for us, this just wasn't realistic because we don't have the time, resources, or bandwidth to build something from the ground up this time. In the future, of course, that is something that I really am passionate about exploring. But for now, everything kind of came turnkey, so it was just a matter of getting things in here to make sure that it was a really nice Airbnb experience. So my goal with this place was to have a space and where I would have time to indulge in my more creative hobbies. So I really wanted a place that was cozy, to read and write and make videos and draw and do those things that at home I kind of sometimes get distracted from doing. Whereas out here I have no excuse but to indulge in creative projects like the one you're watching right now. So that's been nice. So I guess in summary, this place does live up to my expectations because my main goals were having a place and more time to be creative, having a place to be bored and kind of just be with ourselves, and having a place and time to make memories and spend time with family and friends. And that is definitely where it's at. Now, Alex doesn't have as many of those hobbies, but he's been getting handy and doing smaller projects around the house. So changing light fixtures, making furniture, stuff like that. So it's a nice segue into a more handy lifestyle. Now, the question that I'm sure most of you clicked on this video for is, how much did the cabin cost? So this is obviously one of the most frequent questions, because people want to know, like, how much is this? How did you afford it? And I get that because I'm a big numbers person. The list price originally for this cabin was $649,000. Originally from the bank, we were approved for $680,000, but that was a lot of money and we didn't necessarily want to max out what we were approved for. I'd flagged this cabin, and then when it came down in price, I saw that there was a price reduction, and it was down to $630,000, and that's where we were like, ooh, now this is something that we could, work with. So the price was $630,000, and at that point we had a virtual tour. We saw it online, and then we put in an offer. We offered $610,000. They rejected. We came back and we said, okay, $612,000, but we want a lot of the furniture. So it came with all the beds, mattresses, and stuff like that, just so we wouldn't have to invest in those pieces. And that was accepted. So yeah, they also fixed some things before we got possession. So they exchanged the water heater, we got a new one. Overall, I think that we got a good price. In hindsight, I feel like we could have offered even lower based on the comps, but it was our first purchase, so we were like, we were super eager. Yeah. Now, the next thing when it comes to cost is, how much did it take to set up the space the way we wanted it? So painting, furnishing, decor, everything for the Airbnb. So we're talking like amenity things like towels, blah, 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 blah. For that, I made another video about that I will link here, and we kind of talk about more detail of how much the furnishing and stuff costs. However, our budget was about $6,000, and over the course of the past 4 months, we've probably spent closer to 10, but some of that is ongoing maintenance cost and things like that. Now, the expenses don't stop there. So although the place that we bought was only, $610,000 or $12,000, you might think, Harm, you know what? That sounds like a pretty good deal. Well, there is also strata fees, my friends. It is not just the mortgage payment. We have to also pay about $720 a month in strata maintenance. And so strata takes care of the exterior of the building. They do the painting, they do the roof, but also all of the amenities. So because this is an Airbnb, it's really helpful to have multiple pools and hot tubs and weight rooms and all that kind of stuff that makes people really comfortable when they're looking for a place to stay. But if we had to maintain the pools and the hot tubs and whatever, that wouldn't be possible for us living in Vancouver and being remote Airbnb hosts. So the fact that Strata takes care of that, although we do pay quite a premium for that service, we are able to charge a lot more because we have a lot of amenities. So overall, our overhead that we pay to run this place monthly is closer to $4,000. So it's a little bit expensive. Now, with that said, yes, it is very expensive to run, but we are able to make back most of that money and break even. And the goal is to earn majority of the annual expenses during the high seasons, aka summer. This year, our numbers are a little bit different though, because we actually started July 15th, so halfway through the high season. So we didn't have a full summer to earn a lot of that, but with that said, we did better than we projected. So that's good. So after living here, the next thing that I want to talk about is the best and worst parts of the cabin. So we'll kick it off. We'll start off positive with the best part of the cabin, and then we'll talk about the worst. So in my perspective, the best part of this place is the provincial park next door. It is stunning, and you can hike up on these bluffs and the cliffs and just have beautiful views of Lake Okanagan, and you can look up into the hillside and just see hills and mountains, and honestly, it's a pretty easy hike. I'm not a big hiker, but you could walk for 10 minutes up a hill and have stunning views. So pretty. That, all the walking trails, the fact that nobody could ever build there, to me is invaluable. That piece of nature is just chef's kiss. Now, with that said, the worst part, and this is something I've been upset about on this trip and have had to come to terms with, is across the street there's construction. There in the hill is where they're doing a little bit of construction. This is the cause of my agony up there. And when we bought this place, one of the reasons that we chose this unit was because on the other side of the street, it was just trees as far as the eye could see. I don't know what they're up to, but they're up to some kind of construction up there, and I find that very worrisome as an investor, but also like, I don't wanna look up and see a dump truck, you know what I mean? I wanna see fucking trees. Anyway, so we'll see what happens with that, but that is definitely the worst part. And to some extent, you can't control everything about a place that you buy, you know what I mean? Like, we have the provincial park next door, nobody can ever build there. This way we have resort, that way we have the lake, but there's always that one little, like, there's always something you can't control, so I'm not the only one to have this problem, I'm sure. The other worst part about not so much this cabin, but the area is the forest fires. And so I want to talk about this because this year our place came very close to burning down. And if you look on the other side of the lake, actually, I'll show you guys here, you can see that like right on the other side of the lake, right up into the water, it was singed. And as we were driving out to the cabin, you know, what used to be stunning mountains with trees are reduced to just ashes and matchsticks, like essentially like burnt matchsticks. And fires in this desert region are nothing new. Like, it's been happening forever, but obviously the flames have been way more aggressive in the past few years. And that's definitely a risk of buying out here in the desert, but luckily this year we didn't burn down. But at one point I was like, you know what? I just gotta accept the fact that the place that we bought a couple of months ago might burn to the ground. And I had accepted that. I was like, all right, well, that's how it's gotta be, I guess. So, yeah. Overall, those are some like frequently asked questions and a bit of the lifestyle out here. I hope I can turn this into like a little bit of a vlog and not just me talking.
In the path of this thing is
Yeah, thank you guys so much for staying tuned throughout the cabin series. It's been important to me. It's been really fun to make, and I hope that I can keep making this content as long as you guys keep watching it. So, well, I could still make it, but nobody might watch it anyway. Yeah, so thank you guys so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you guys in the next one. Bye!